Recently, there's been some hubbub over old photos surfacing of Ocasio-Cortez seemingly staging a PR event outside of a detention center. In the photos, you can see Ocasio-Cortez, weeping and crying. I mean, it looks like she's crying. Let's pull them up first, because I know some of you have probably already seen this, but I want to make sure anybody who missed the context will see these photos. The news here is that we have a new photo that is being shared showing the bigger picture as to what Ocasio-Cortez was protesting. And as you can imagine, it was nothing. It was an empty parking lot. I'm not exaggerating. So first, let's do this. Here are the photos posted by Ivan Pierre Aguirre. He says, before AOC hit the national stage and was just a fairly unknown House candidate from NYC, she took time away from her campaign and came down to Tornillo to protest the tent city housing migrant children. I made these previously unpublished photos a year ago today. So you can see this photo and, she looks forlorn and upset. In this photo, it looks like she's crying. She isn't, in my opinion. Then you can see her crouching down and, looking like she's just so upset. And then another photo of her looking just so sad. Now, here's the thing. She was dragged by people on the left and the right for this. Many people on the left said, dude, what is this? You're taking pictures of, you're posting pictures of yourself. I understand someone else with the photos. That's normal. But she retweeted this and they're like, show us the kids. Don't show us you doing posting you looking to the camera all longingly. And many conservatives on the right said basically the same thing. We have this story from the Daily Dot. This is what's funny. I want to make sure it's clear. The left and the right were dragging her. I don't know how many people on the left or the right, but yes, there were people on both sides who thought she was using this as a PR stunt. But of course, you'll find partisan media are going to make it about conservatives. And yes, there are conservative outlets making it about liberals. The point is, it was both. It really was. There was one article I read where it said her own base and supporters were questioning her, and that's true. But to frame it in only one way is wrong. Everybody dragged her. Now, here's the thing. Conservative outlets have no problem pointing out that conservatives are literally criticizing her because they're a conservative outlet criticizing her. In this instance, Daily Dot's trying to make it seem like it's only conservatives who are upset, and they try and defend her behavior. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read this, and I want to show you some of the comments people made and how they framed the story. Let's just do that, and then I'll show you the photo. So I think it's important to know, in the photo I have, she's standing in front of an empty parking lot. I'll show you the photo in a second, but I want to go through the context and show you how they frame stories to make it seem like, the story is actually one way or another by misleading you by omitting information. The story writes, a batch of photos showing Ocasio-Cortez at a child housing complex for undocumented immigrants in Texas last year is sparking some criticism online. The photos, which were made public by a photographer earlier this week, show Ocasio-Cortez just days before she would go on to win the primary in 2018. Now, in fact, these photos were published. Some of them were published a year ago. They show the New York lawmaker clearly emotional, standing next to a chain link fence and crying. Well, I don't think you can say she is crying. I think the fair assessment is standing next to a chain link fence with her face on her hands. I don't see any tears. I just see her with a furrowed brow and her hands on her face. Ocasio-Cortez responded to the photographer on Twitter and said she would never forget going there. You're going to love seeing this photo. As the Houston Chronicle pointed out in 2018, she was part of a group of protesters at the facility. She tweeted about the protest, which was also attended by activists and celebrities on the same day. She also tweeted similar photos a few days later. Scrolling down, we can see one person said, I feel her emotions in every single picture, especially that last one. It's pure anger. And how can one not feel anger after seeing what she saw? Oh, man. You want to know what she saw? It was an empty parking lot. Let me just pull up the photo. There you go. For those listening on the podcast, I understand you can't really see, but I told you it's an empty parking lot. And for those that are watching, it's an empty parking lot. There she is. Here is a real photo, not taken from an angle that omits the context of what's happening around her. She was crying while looking at an empty parking lot. Congratulations. You can feel her emotions? Is that what you said? Oh, especially that last one. It's pure anger. How can she not feel anger after seeing what she saw? I too get angry when I see an empty parking lot, not for the same reasons though. I do it because I'm like, did you really need that big of a parking lot? Can we plant some trees or something? What can you see here? There's a tent city, a facility. Ocasio-Cortez is, in my opinion, pretending to cry, and here she is hugging someone as she looks longingly at an empty parking lot. Okay, listen, I understand that beyond the parking lot there's a tent city, but she can't see anything. She can't see any harsh conditions. She doesn't see any kids. She sees an empty parking lot. So I guess you want to cry, but I have to wonder why this photographer didn't publish the photos showing the other angle. Perhaps this photo came from him, I don't know. On Twitter, he didn't. Kenzie Borland, they highlight her tweet, says, people saying that these photos are staged are really finding it hard to believe that people cry over the harsh treatment of migrant children. I cry about it too. Sure. I'm upset by that, absolutely. But she's looking at an empty parking lot. I kid you not. What is this? There's two cops standing on the other side of a fence of an empty parking lot. Can I say that again? Empty parking lot. A large contingent of conservatives also criticized them for looking staged or for being part of a performance. However, it wasn't Ocasio-Cortez who shared the photos. Yes, it was. She quote tweeted the guy and said, "I'll never forget this." And it was she who went to a detention center a year ago highlighting a cause she has continued to rail against since taking office. We get it. And then you have conservatives criticizing her. So in this Daily Dot story, they've done one of the famous things that I love. You know, I love how journalists do this. 2 tweets from the left to act like the left is defending her, and 3 tweets from the right. Congratulations, you found random people. But you know what? It's like a man on the street. It's like when Jimmy Kimmel goes out and asks dumb people dumb questions and makes them look dumb. If you go outside and do an actual man on the street, you'll find some dumb people, some smart people, some average people. And then what they do is they edit it down to make everyone look really, really stupid. That's basically what we have today for most of media. They'll take a few tweets from the left criticizing Cortez and say, oh, look, the left is mad at her. They'll take a few tweets from the right, same thing. The Daily Dot is framing this with 2 tweets from the left to make it seem like it's only conservatives who are upset. I'm sorry. She was crying about seeing an empty parking lot. But you know what? We're going to move on from it because I got another story. This one's from the Daily Wire. And come on, man, these people I find, they're insufferable. Alyssa Milano takes chauffeur-driven Mercedes to detention center, tries to enter, it doesn't work. Okay, here we go again. This time, not a year ago, but today. On Wednesday, actress Alyssa Milano showed up at an immigration detention center in Florida in her chauffeur-driven Mercedes and attempted to get inside, boasting, quote, I'm Alyssa Milano. I'm an actress activist, and I would love to be let in based on a community visit. The government agents had a simple response. Nope. As the Daily Mail reported, once back in her car, Milano filmed another video and asked her 3.6 million followers to submit requests asking for her to be allowed in on Thursday. She urged her fans, we tried to get in, they wouldn't let us. They gave me a card to email to make a visit request. Maybe we should all email and tell them to let me in, because I'm going to go back there tomorrow and again, try to be let in. They want me to make an appointment to be let back in. Usually that appointment is set up for 2 weeks later. Of course, in that 2 weeks, they'll have time to clean up the place. I thought it was important that they just let me in. Okay, they can't just let anybody in. It's complicated. But I do think she's right. They'll definitely clean things up and try and give her like a Potemkin village kind of visit. But come on. You've got to be nuts to think you can show up randomly to a detention center, demand to be let in, and then get let in. And then the only reason she above anyone else would maybe have that ability is because she's putting pressure. She's brigading. Okay, look, if you go on Twitter and say, hey, I want X to happen, and you trigger your fans to go and do something, yeah, great, you have that power. It's called social currency. But no, people just can't randomly be led into detention centers. Milano said, we got to shut down these detention centers. There are thousands of children at Homestead. They had pencils and pens taken away from them because they were cutting themselves. They are not allowed to have any physical contact with each other to comfort each other, even if they are siblings. The 17-year-old, once they turn 18, they're put into solitary confinement and then shackled and brought to an adult detention center. She continued, there are laws in place that they don't seem to be following. They wouldn't let me in again, so the only glimpse I got of the children was over the fence. Please educate and empower yourselves. Use your voices. We can all make a difference. If you have any of these detention centers in your community, please show up. Ask to be let inside. Make sure they know that people are watching and that we're going to continue to watch. And as always, thank you for your support and your love. I feel honored. Yeah. Okay, we get it, Alyssa. Listen, I have no problem with her with that statement following, right? Look, you're not going to get let in, okay? And you've got to set up an appointment. That's just the way things work. I don't blame her necessarily for trying. I guess she wants to highlight these issues, and I think the conditions there are bad. That's been reported far and wide. Here's what needs to happen, though. You've got the extremes on the left saying shut them down. And do what with the kids? Are they better off just walking around outside with nowhere to go? I mean, seriously, where are you going to put them? Okay? I'm genuinely asking. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Where can these kids go? A lot of these kids at Homestead came without parent. They were unaccompanied minors. So what can we do? Some people have said, send them off to community houses. In the debates, they said, have them be housed in the community at a fraction of the cost. Yes, but where? Right? In Mexico, here, and at the border, we're overwhelmed. Hundreds of thousands of people have come across already this year alone. Yes, we want to make sure they're safe. I assure you the ICE agents aren't evil trying to harm people. They're actually helping them. Some of these people are dying of heat stroke in the desert. So maybe they're better off in bad conditions than dead. I honestly don't know what the solution is. Because, think about it. When they're put in these conditions that are really bad, people then, you get the Democrats and the left-wing activists saying, how dare you? Okay, what do we do? Because if you shut it down, are they going to be better off outside? No. Then the Democrats are going to say, these poor children are homeless and outside. We need to do something. Why aren't they setting up centers for these kids? And then you do, and then they get mad. And then when a company like Wayfair is going to put beds in these places, they protest that too. So you know what, man? Just tell me what you're going to do with the kids instead of just saying shut it down and be compassionate, because that's not a solution. All right? Final thoughts, wrap this up. Look, I have no problem with the activism, but you have to talk about solutions, okay? I don't always know the answers, but I do often propose some ideas, and I will point out problems. I won't call for, when I talk about like Google and big tech, I flat out said the other day, I don't know if breaking them up is the right thing to do. It seems better than getting rid of Section 230. But I ultimately don't know. We need to have this conversation and talk about solutions. Imagine if people came out and said, just shut them down, just burn to the ground. Okay, then what? That doesn't solve the problem. You're just kicking the can down the road. In this instance, what they're demanding might actually make things worse. But you know what? Regardless of their opinions, they can always show up to an empty parking lot and cry and get attention for their political campaign. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks for hanging out. Stick around. You can go to timcast.com/donate if you want to support my work. Share the video if you like the content, and I will see you all in the next segment.